All right, it's time to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's episode, happyhippo.com. So if you guys haven't checked this out, you got to go to happyhippo.com because they have some of the highest quality kratom products that I've ever come across. And if you guys aren't familiar with what kratom is, it's an herbal substance that has many different uses, everything from a balanced mind to energy. It can help you relax. And my wife and I, over the last couple of weeks, have tried out some of their products. And I have to say, it has improved her sleep specifically. She's very anxious and her mind runs at night, and it has helped her fall asleep and stay asleep. She actually was using one of the powders that comes in a pouch from Happy Hippo and just dropped it into her water, and off she went, and she was just she was very happy. Let me just put it that way. And so myself, during the workday, if you guys didn't know, I have a big boy job. I work in contract management, and I need that balance. I need the energy during the day, and they have something called Hyper Hippo and an energy shot. Those energy shots come in those little tiny bottles. You guys are familiar with it from other brands that use that type of packaging, but there's nothing like this, all right? This energy shot, I take it, easy to take, and within minutes, I feel the effects. There's no massive crash after I take it either, which is a huge deal, right? How many energy drinks have you taken and coffee have you drank throughout the day that just leads to the massive crash? Well, this doesn't, and it's an all-natural herb. And I'm telling you right now, it will help you get through your day. It can help you relax, depending on the type of product you're looking for. Happy Hippo delivers. And guess what? Right now, if you have an order of 200 or more, you can get free next day FedEx shipping. And also their stuff tastes great. So check out happyhippo.com. Support the WWE podcast and Happy Hippo. And do yourself a favor as well, guys. I'm telling you right now, if it can help my wife go to sleep, for somebody as anxious as she is and as somebody that needs as much energy as I do during the day to do this podcast and to do my job during the day. And right now, you can save 15% on your entire order by using promo code WWE15. That's right, WWE15 will get you 15% off of your entire order. And starting August 28th, they are having their largest sale of the year on their Hyper Hippo product, 40% off. So you'll definitely want to check them out then. But anytime you can use WWE15 as your promo code to get 15% off your entire order. Check out happyhippo.com, whether you're trying to relax or whether you need energy or balance during the day. Happyhippo.com.
This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is the one that everybody wants, me. It's going to WrestleMania. Claymore! Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
Hey everybody, welcome to the WWE Podcast. It's time for the Monday Night Raw review here on Tuesday, September 19th, 2023, as Monday Night Raw took place last night. Boy, do I have a lot to say on this show that I will get into momentarily. But before we get to the criticism, and a rant is coming. So if you're not privy to the rants that I sometimes go on, or we go on here on the show, you may want to sit this one out. Sit on the sidelines. Head to the bullpen, because it's going to get ugly quickly. But before that, again, we have some good news to let you guys know about, and that's new patrons of the show. And a brand new patron that joined us over the last couple of days is Anthony D. Anthony, welcome to the show. We've also got a new trial member, and that is Smoke DZA. Not sure. I'm going to assume your name is not actually Smoke, but if it is, cool name. Isn't Smoke like a Mortal Kombat character? So I've actually, that's like the only Smoke that I know. Isn't it from like old school Mortal Kombat? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? I don't know. Anyway, So guys, you want to join the patrons? The reason is you get shout outs, just like you heard here. You get to go join everything and get everything ad free. You get a Discord server that I know many of you love and join and talk to the other patrons throughout every show. And you can go up in tier and get exclusive shows like the After Dark show every Friday from Anthony DeMarco. And you get video and other perks as well. You can even come on the show if you go high enough in tiers. So, all right, I'm done with this. I am done with this. You know, I told you that I have been off the train for a while on Cody Rhodes. And I've been off the train for a while. I gave it a shot. I gave it a real shot. He started to win me over a little bit. There was some progress made. His entrance it's very produced. It's very, it is, I guess, eye-catching, if that's accurate, if that makes sense. His music is wonderful. It is very fun to sing along to. And in person, I did it, right? When they came to Albany, New York, I was a participant in the sing-along song, right? I mean, the whole whoa thing, right? It's fun in person. And that's after that time, I soured on Cody little by little. And then I was pushed off the ledge. And now I'm so far off the ledge, I think I'm just going to go splat onto the ground for the Cody Rhodes babyface character. Now, before any of you starts coming at me, I want to make it very clear. Cody Rhodes is a hell of a talent. Cody Rhodes deserved the main event last year, and he performed at an extremely high level. I think he did an amazing job. The promos weren't always spot on. I think he leaned a little bit too much into WrestleMania, into his dad and finishing the story. But generally, I thought they did a nice job. I thought it was fun, and the main event delivered, and there were times where I believed Cody was going to win. And I applaud them for that. I've got nothing negative to say on that front, and he's a good promo if you like the very goody two-shoes promo that he delivers. I would never advocate for him being fired. I think he is... I actually do believe he's a good guy in real life. I get the vibe. Even though he loves himself, I still believe he is genuinely a good dude, even if he does seemingly do it a lot for the cameras. Either way, I'm not advocating for him to ever be fired. He is a true asset, a big asset to the WWE. Now, that's kind of where things stop for me, because I want you, instead, in a bit of a change of pace here, instead of me describing what part of Monday Night Raw really set me off in a way that I have not, and I tweeted this out, I have not been this turned off by a babyface in all of my years of watching wrestling. That includes the chain gang pandering crap that I saw from John Cena. This includes even the current John Cena that tries to be funny with his bow ties and dressing up like Pee Wee Herman, and the promos that he used to cut of, hope we entertained you tonight, all of that nonsense. This even supersedes Suffering Succotash and all the stuff that Roman Reigns did that was just cringeworthy during his forced babyface run that preceded, of course, his magical run as a heel. And let me just play it for you, and we'll come back together.
Kev, I've had a lot of roles, I've had a lot of tasks, I've had a lot of duties, but my job is to make these people happy, right? And
Wait. What's that, Cody? Your job is to do what? To make me happy? My happiness is dependent on you? This on so many levels, and we're going to break down Monday Night Raw, and there's some good things to talk about, some really good things, and I even have some positive things to say about Nia Jax. Believe it or not, I do. And I think WWE is being smart about something that they're doing with Nia. We'll get to that. So there's some positive on the back end of this, but this is getting worse and worse by the week. It's almost like they're trying to sabotage Cody. Or that they're so not aware, or not self-aware. Cody's not, maybe, of just how wishy and gooey and soft and not even TV PG. This is like TV Y. Like, you know what I'm talking about, like the young audience, like those under 6. This makes Hulk Hogan, when he was talking about saying your prayers and taking your vitamins, it makes him look like an edgy badass. When is the last time anyone heard a babyface say that he just wants to make us happy? Now, that actually is the intent of babyfaces in professional wrestling, is they actually do try to elicit happiness from fans, among other emotions, but primarily when you see a babyface, you emote ideally the emotion of happiness. But here, that's not the problem. He actually said the quiet part out loud. That's the problem. He didn't just break down the fourth wall. He put dynamite on it and lit it up. And it's like, why in the world would he feel like that's a good line to say? The fans cheered, but kind of uncomfortably, didn't they? Like, thanks, dude. Yeah. Happiness is a byproduct of doing a good job as a babyface. And right now, I don't know if this is some kind of larger ploy to turn Cody heel. I almost want to believe that, of just how sickeningly soft, transparent, and just, the all-world politician that he's become. It's almost like they're trying to do that without people noticing. Because he's coming out, he's shaking everyone's hand. He's got his Crest White Strip smile all the time. His bleach blonde hair. He's in a suit. He's always dressed up. You know, he's very produced and very, very calculated in the way he speaks, the way he moves in his entrance. He feels extremely manufactured. And we said the same thing about Roman. 2 different cats here, though. And he comes out now and he's giving people not just these promos that are just, it makes me want to vomit on my microphone right now, but also he is now having to give his stamp of approval for everyone. Like, where he sticks his nose in everyone's business, has to be the guy that comes out to help the other baby faces. You saw it on Raw again this week. And he does have beef with the Judgment Day. I understand that. He beats one of the hottest heels in professional wrestling in 2 minutes. That's a bad idea. Just flat out bad. We'll get to that too. He then, I don't know if you guys saw this. I had an Instagram follower send me this. After Chad Gable's match on Raw, Cody Rhodes is in the ring and he holds up the hand of Chad Gable as if he has to give his stamp of approval to Chad Gable. He's trying to get the rub to Chad Gable. Go watch it. It's probably out there floating. I don't think this was on Raw. It's sickening. I don't know where they have just decided arbitrarily when it happened exactly to anoint Cody Rhodes as a quasi general manager, spokesperson, also kind of like a preacher of sorts, giving us the good news all the time, but also this professional wrestler. He's a very weird, in a weird spot. And you wouldn't know it based on the reaction. And I know I'm in the minority. I have people come at me all the time about how, well, you said Cody Rhodes is this and this, but what about the... Hey, if it's not my flavor, it's not my flavor. I really don't know how he's anyone's flavor right now. I really don't understand anymore. And he speaks like a politician. He walks like a politician. His mannerisms, he's always smiling with that stupid ass smile, mentioning the name of a city, asking a question that, he's trying to make a catchphrase that you can't answer as a collective crowd in any kind of meaningful way, other than just, yeah, he said the name of our city and I don't know how to answer the next part, because you can't. This is just insane now. And then you have Kevin Owens asking Cody why he did what he did, given that Jey Uso caused so much havoc as part of the bloodline. He's made a lot of enemies. And Kevin asked the question and that's what you heard here, of course, on Cody's end of why he did what he did. And in that second part of it, Cody answered, well, let's give people second chances. Second chances? Is he suddenly also wearing the hat of the moral compass? Is he our guiding star for all things good? Is he going to decide who gets second chances and who doesn't now? What political chips does he have to cash in? With who? Triple H? With the bond there? If you're trying to stretch it, I guess, sure. But the dude's been back for a little over a year, injured for half of it. And main events WrestleMania, loses, but in a losing effort. He probably would have won if it wasn't for Solo Sikoa and others in the match. He consistently puts on good matches, and I don't understand this version. I've never seen in all of my years of watching wrestling, which I know 25 years to some of you is like, well, I've been watching for 30. I've been watching for 40. Well, great. Okay. The idea is that many of you have been watching as long or longer. Some of you may be much newer, but I'm sure some of you would try to outrank me by the number of years that your opinion suddenly means more, which, fine. I just know I'm going to get a lot of backlash for this, and it's fine. I have no issues with that. But my point is, in a quarter of a century of watching wrestling, I have never, ever seen them crank out a version of a babyface that is so soft, but also oozes that he loves himself, is in everyone's business, trying to pretend that he is the one that's giving the stamp of approval to guys that have been there 5 times as long as he has, have won many more championships that he has. He also is suddenly playing the part-time role of GM. How the hell that's happened. And then tells us that he's there to make us happy. How can anyone cheer this guy? Take the music away and tell me you would cheer for this dude and why. There cannot be a logical explanation unless you like this ooey gooey, soft, mushy, just pandering and tell me you love me and you're here to serve me. If you're that kind of person, you probably love this. But I can't imagine there's a whole lot of people out there that are like that listen to wrestling podcasts anyway. Unless you love the acknowledge me, and I don't mean in the Roman Reigns way, but acknowledge me as a fan that you're here to serve me. Like, you have to have that kind of personality to see what Cody's doing and take a positive from it and go, that's what I love. Yeah, I'm going to cheer for him because he's saying how much he loves me. It's really unbelievable. I'm just going to stop there. I'm going to stop there for now. And let me know what you guys think of the mailbag. And if you guys want to rebut me or at least tell me why you support Cody, this version of the babyface, again, not the character or the person Cody Rhodes, but this version of him it's insufferable. It's reached. I thought Roman Reigns as a babyface was bad, and it was back in the day. But as the big dog, it was awful the majority of the time, and made me also sick to my stomach at times. This is on another level. It makes Roman Reigns look like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't know. I'll stop because I'll repeat myself over and over here, but let me know what you guys think of the mailbag. I'm very interested to hear what your thoughts are on the whole deal with Cody and why you even like this version of this. I'm at the point now where I almost just want to mute anything that he's on. I want to skip through, like hit that, the skip ahead button every time I see him. Again, his matches are high quality. In ring, no problem. I almost despise them more him as an individual more than like the New Day. I don't know. I'll leave it there. Of course, wrestling is very subjective. Everybody has their own flavor. I just don't know the type of human being that you have to be to enjoy this and to cheer him. Cheer this character that he's portraying. It is it's the drizzling, you know what, for me. So you talk about being off the train of Cody Rhodes. Hell, I'm not even near a railroad anymore. God almighty. I mean, I could have gone on with that promo, but for copyright reasons, I can't. All right. But in the match he had with Dom, 2 minutes. And it was a little clunky to start, but that's not even my biggest issue. My biggest issue is that he beats Dom clean and almost a squash match in 2 minutes. You're telling me you're going to take the biggest heel on Raw and you're going to have him be beat in 2 minutes clean? Why? Not only is that a very bad way to manage your heel, because that's what everybody wants to see, is him get his ass kicked, but it's not just that you want to see Dom get beat and beat clean, because he is a very good heel. He's naturally annoying. These are all good things. It's just that you don't come across this kind of heat very often. This heat for Dom is a rarity. I don't know the last time, if ever, I've heard the consistent reaction for Dom that I'm hearing on a week-to-week basis. It's magical. And you're telling me you're going to have Cody beat him in 2 minutes as if he's some kind of local talent that you're using to give the guy a push? It's really just bizarre. Again, it almost leads me to believe that they are trying to turn Cody heel inadvertently or as some kind of master plan. I just don't know how they're not this self-aware. I mean, with Dom, I want to see him get his ass kicked, but it's not just that he lost clean and lost decisively. It's how quickly he lost. Are you kidding? All right. I mean, let's move on. I want to talk about Nia Jax, which actually is a positive thing. And the reason is that we were told that both Raquel Rodriguez and Rhea Ripley were not there because Nia Jax injured them. Now, I, as many of you probably did, Googled it, looked at the websites, PW Insider, all the, the sites that are usually more hit than miss, right? And just to make sure that it wasn't a legit injury. And when I found out it wasn't, I said to myself, ooh, this is smart. Because the narrative around Nia Jax, as we all know, she has a reputation, fairly or unfairly, you could argue, has a reputation of being involved in injuries, whether she inadvertently caused it or it was actually the fault of her opponent. She has a disproportionate amount of injuries that happen in her matches. And that reputation has followed her and will, for better or worse, follow her probably for the rest of her career. And so I actually think it's a good idea. Instead of running from it, make that a part of her character. Make that a part of her, that she's out to actually injure people. Shayna Baszler did this a little bit when she was snapping arms, which I loved. But this is a real life scenario that she has gained a reputation of, and I'm sure she is bothered by it. But if you're going to be bothered by it, why don't you turn it back on the fans and use it to your advantage as part of your character? That, you know what, you guys say that, that I'm always injuring people. You're damn right. I'm doing it on purpose. I'm not here to just win. I'm here to injure people. That I think is a positive. And if that's the narrative they take, instead of trying to run from this and all that, I like it. That's what I would do. I'd double and triple down on it. I'd have Nia come out and blend reality and fiction. That's the best part. That's the best kind of storytelling, is when you're not sure what's real or what's not. And that's what I would do. So if you're going to bring me Nia Jax, the ass kicker that's just going to start injuring people, and of course in wrestling storyline, not in real life, but that's a great way to lean into it, because fans have that kind of image of her. That's her vibe is, so someone's getting injured tonight. But what if Nia leans into it? I think it'd be a great thing, and hopefully they continue with that. Now, she can't injure everyone she comes in contact with, but that should be her goal during matches. And that should be her promos. That should be in her promos. I think that they could really make something out of that. If they don't, I think it's a missed opportunity. But one other thing I want to say about Cody, I know. We're going to get off this in a second, is that when he said that, of course, it was egregious about him just there to, he's there to make us happy. How about Cody? You're there to win matches, win championships. That's why you're there. Again, that's what he should say. That's what we believe. That's what we want to believe. That's why we want to believe everyone's there, men and women. You're there to win championships and win the big one. Not to, well, I'm here just this is my job. I got to make you guys happy. Uneffing believable. You talk about killing the moment, pulling back the curtain, and being a total pandering jerk. And I'm censoring myself here a lot. All right. Done with Cody for now. Okay. I'm going to take a break. Let's talk to our sponsor of today's episode, and then we'll be right back. All right. It's time to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's episode, happyhippo.com. So if you guys haven't checked this out, you got to go to happyhippo.com because they have some of the highest quality kratom products that I've ever come across. And if you guys aren't familiar with what kratom is, it's an herbal substance that has many different uses, everything from a balanced mind to energy. It can help you relax. And my wife and I, over the last couple of weeks, have tried out some of their products. And I have to say, it has improved her sleep specifically. She's very anxious and her mind runs at night, and it has helped her fall asleep and stay asleep. She actually was using one of the powders that comes in a pouch from Happy Hippo and just dropped it into her water, and off she went, and she was just she was very happy. Let me just put it that way. And so myself, during the workday, if you guys didn't know, I have a big boy job. I work in contract management, and I need that balance. I need the energy during the day, and they have something called Hyper Hippo and an energy shot. And those energy shots come in those little tiny bottles. You guys are familiar with it from other brands that use that type of packaging, but there's nothing like this. All right. This energy shot, I take it, easy to take, and within minutes, I feel the effects. There's no massive crash after I take it either, which is a huge deal, right? How many energy drinks have you taken and coffee have you drank throughout the day that just leads to the massive crash? Well, this doesn't. And it's an all natural herb. And I'm telling you right now, it will help you get through your day. It can help you relax depending on the type of product you're looking for. Happy Hippo delivers. And guess what? Right now, if you have an order of 200 or more, you can get free next day FedEx shipping. And also their stuff tastes great. So check out happyhippo.com. Support the WWE podcast and Happy Hippo. And do yourself a favor as well, guys. I'm telling you right now, if it can help my wife go to sleep, for somebody as anxious as she is and as somebody that needs as much energy as I do during the day to do this podcast and to do my job during the day. And right now, you can save 15% on your entire order by using promo code WWE15. That's right, WWE15 will get you 15% off of your entire order. And starting August 28th, they are having their largest sale of the year on their Hyper Hippo product, 40% off. So you'll definitely want to check them out then. But anytime you can use WWE15 as your promo code to get 15% off your entire order. Check out happyhippo.com, whether you're trying to relax or whether you need energy or balance during the day. Happyhippo.com. All right, everybody, let's get going here. And I would encourage you guys to check out Happy Hippo. All right, use that code WWE15 at checkout. You get 15% off your entire order. So, all right, let's do it. Let's talk a little bit more about Monday Night Raw. I'm gonna try to find some high spots here, or some bright spots rather. There were a lot of high spots, but bright spots. So, let's see. I would say Kofi Kingston and Ivar. That, I think, actually was a surprisingly good match, and they got 13 minutes here. It was more fun than I ever expected it to be. So the finish was Ivar set up for a move from the middle rope. Valhalla twirled her finger around. Ivar took her cue and then went up to the top and executed a moonsault, but it led to only another near fall. Valhalla screamed in frustration, and then Ivar placed Kingston on the top turnbuckle and set up for a move, but Kingston fought back and executed a sunset bomb. Kingston followed up with the Trouble in Paradise and got the victory. This was, again, very, very surprisingly good. And a match that I went in kind of yawn. I got to admit, I went in and just like, oh, yeah, let's go, and it got me invested. I more than I ever expected, and that's a positive. So now, what does this mean for Kofi? Nothing, nothing other than, hey, he can still put on a good match. He's still very good inside the ring. I can never take that from him. As awful as his character is, I cannot take that from him. He is a absolute professional in the ring. Never had an issue with that. And you know what? Ivar showed that he can have a singles match and excel. It doesn't hurt that he's in the ring with a veteran like Kofi. Doesn't hurt at all, but still, I think it was a match that I'd say to myself, I wouldn't mind seeing that again, Now, moving on here to Shinsuke versus Ricochet. Now, this was a match that ended in 13 minutes, and we know what happened here. We had Ricochet hit a step up in Seguri. Nakamura tried to hit Ricochet with a chair, but Ricochet avoided it and ended up with the chair in his hands. Ricochet then actually decided to use it on Nakamura. That caused a DQ. And then after the match, Ricochet was arguing with the ref. That allowed Nakamura to recover and hit Ricochet from behind, and then hit him with the Kinshasa, and Nakamura pulled Ricochet into the corner and slammed his left knee into the ring post and hit the chair on Ricochet's leg 3 times. Seth Rollins finally hopped the barricade and broke through security and attacked Nakamura. Rollins, though, rolled Nakamura inside the ring and then tried to pedigree him on the chair, but Nakamura backdropped Rollins onto the chair. And then security intervened, and Rollins pulled Nakamura to ringside, but he ended up dumping Seth back first on top of the broadcast table, and Nakamura grabbed a big Rollins head cut, a cutout from the fan, and held it in front of his face. This was really well done. Now, it's weird that Ricochet didn't lose clean to Nakamura. I don't understand why they're so fearful of having Nakamura beat Ricochet clean, given that Nakamura is going to be in a title match, presumably at Fastlane with Rollins again, and many, believe that it's possible now. It's in the realm of discussion to be possible for Nakamura to win the belt, and he can't beat Nakamura, or he can't beat Ricochet clean. It's a little weird, given the pecking order of where Ricochet is right now in the power rankings, so to speak. It's not like they're anywhere near one another right now. So at the same time, I also kind of understand what they're doing. They're trying to protect Ricochet and show a little bit of an edge on him. Show that he can be fiery. He can be about, sacrificing a victory for the greater good of punishing a heel. Like, that's fine. You can do that once in a while as a babyface, be intentionally disqualified. There's nothing wrong with that. So there's 2 schools of thought here. I don't think either man was hurt by this. I think it was well done, and Rollins not getting the better of Nakamura again, and Ricochet, or rather Nakamura targeting the back of Rollins, has been the story all along, and it should continue to be, because it's an actual injury that Seth is dealing with and has dealt with for years that we're learning about, and it would make no sense if Nakamura didn't target that piece of his anatomy in order to gain an advantage and eventually capture his belt, right? So this is all well done. It's all, I'm really, no complaints here. For all the complaining I did about Cody for 20 minutes at the beginning of the show, this Nakamura angle with Seth has been nothing but a damn pleasant surprise. One that I'm really looking forward to, presumably at Fastlane in their rematch. And Nakamura is getting some really good heat, and I'm very anxious to see how this plays out. It's also interesting to me that Rollins is going through an actual back injury, and you have Nakamura targeting the back, punishing the back. You would think, well, yeah, this is a kayfabe scenario. This is it's produced, but you got to be careful of not actually unintentionally in real life furthering the injury of Seth. I mean, there's no way it can be good for his back if he has an injury to be slammed on an announce table. It just can't be. So it's a fine line of playing into the story of the back injury, but also in real life not trying to antagonize or inflate the back injury. It's kind of a weird story here, but I love it. So no issues here. And Rollins was then shown limping backstage, telling a referee he was fine, but he collapsed to the ground. It's just great stuff. So Byron Saxton then interviewed Green and Piper Niven backstage and asked them about about Baszler and Stark. Green said Baszler and Stark are not even a real team. Green said the key to being a team is friendship. That's an interesting analysis, given that Piper Niven and Chelsea Green pretty much came out of the woodwork too. So I guess that's the point. But anyway, we got Green saying the key to being a team is friendship, and Green said that she and Niven are best friends, and Niven disagreed and asked Green if she even knew what country she's from, and Green guessed Florida. Niven walked off, and Saxon told Green that Niven is from Scotland. Green called him Brian and stormed away. So, I have to say, the Chelsea Green character, we all know, is based on the quote-unquote Karen stereotype of women, of white women, and middle-aged white women specifically. We understand that. Now she's kind of morphing into this, or branching off into this kind of, like, for lack of a better term, stupid character. And I don't mean it's a bad character. I mean it as a, like, low intelligence character that you don't even know what country you're in, and you answer a state instead of a country, and then you say the wrong name for somebody. I'm going to say the jury's still out on this. It's not my favorite version of Green. But I don't know whether it's a good or bad thing right now. It's a bit of a turnoff right now, but maybe it blossoms into something better. And actually, I could see this turning into a babyface character. Somebody that's just so oblivious they give ridiculous answers to things. All right, we got the women's tag team champions, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, non-title. And a couple of minutes into the match, Niven executed a shoulder breaker on Stark, but eventually the finish was Stark putting Green down, and Niven broke it up. Baszler ran in and sent Niven to the floor. Niven came back and slammed Baszler to the floor, and then Nia Jax attacked Niven and ran her into the ring post for the no contest finish. So another non-finish and a non-title match, which was weird, but it looks like we might get a little bit of Nia Jax and Piper Niven. I guess that's a fantasy matchup in some circles of the wrestling world, mainly because of their similar body types. I would imagine that's the only appeal here. But Nia Jax just kind of indiscriminately attacking people, and that's the narrative that WWE put out too, is Nia Jax is just here to attack everyone. Not the soundest of strategies. If that's the narrative, if that's the mission statement, or rather the strategic plan of Nia Jax is to attack everyone, she doesn't need a partner, doesn't need a friend, you're going to make a lot of enemies very quick, and the numbers game is not going to be in your favor. It's a very poor decision strategically for Nia Jax as a character, but I understand the narrative. She's kind of a lone wolf. She's just attacking any and everyone. She doesn't need any kind of companionship. Fine. But eventually, I mean, that can only run so far. We'll see. So after the match, Jax entered the ring and, as I said, put Stark down with a Samoan drop, and Jax ran the ropes and hit a senton splash on Stark, and Green got to her feet and tried to run when she spotted Jax, who stopped her and tossed her into the corner, and then performed a hip attack on Green and then splashed Baszler in the opposite corner. So basically, she left everyone laying and said, the division is on notice. That's original. So that's the message. The division's on notice as we all gang up and then realize, hey, we all have a common enemy, all 10 of us. Not a sound strategy by Jax, but very, very short-lived, very, very nearsighted. Anyway, all right. So let's continue on here. We did get Chad Gable making his entrance along with Otis and Maxine. Jey was interviewed backstage by Jackie Redmond, though, and Jey spoke about how he knows he has eyes on him and he has a story or history with Drew, and said they would get physical. And Damian Priest showed up and tried to woo Jimmy into coming into the group. And Priest said that if Jey's willing, the Judgment Day could be their family that Jey's been looking for his whole life. And Priest asked Jey not to make him look bad in front of his family and asked Jey to give him an answer by the end of the night. Okay. But Chad Gable, as I mentioned, was in the ring, and he faced Bronson Reed. And this ended with Bronson Reed beating Chad Gable in 6 minutes and 40 seconds. Now, the finish of this was that Reed went for a running senton, but Gable put his knees up. Gable then tried to suplex him and sold the pain. Reed got Gable on his back and fell backward, and then Reed hit his tsunami splash for the victory. So I'm very confused about this. If you're having Gable face Gunther again for the title, which is what we were told last week during the IC title celebration with Imperium, why are you having him lose to a guy that's not even on the Hulu cut version of Raw almost ever? Nothing against Bronson Reed, but in the pecking order of things right now, Bronson Reed's kind of at the bottom of the food chain, or towards the bottom. Not that the guy isn't going to be a star; it's just currently today. Chad Gable, on the other hand, many people believed could actually beat Gunther, and all of a sudden he's losing to Reed. Very perplexing. Maybe they're backburnering Chad Gable and Gunther for now and saving that for another time. I'm not sure, but this was a very surprising outcome for me. Not a complaint, just kind of like, wait, what? It seems maybe the IC title with Gunther Part 4 is being sidelined for the time being anyway. All right. So then we got a video package recapping Becky Lynch beating Tiffany Stratton for the NXT Women's Championship, and then Lynch was backstage. And Cole said it was a star-making performance for Stratton, but Lynch is the Grand Slam man. Yeah. So I don't know how it can be. I know what Cole's trying to do. He's trying to sell Tiffany Stratton even in a loss, and that's what he should do. But it's always kind of weird when they say it out loud instead of, it's so like it was a star-making performance. No, that's what you don't say those words, right? Like, we know you're trying to make a star, but you don't say it's a star-making performance. Again, it's like everyone's saying the quiet part out loud here. It's so transparent. It's weird, and I'm not bringing this back to Cody, but it's similar in the way that where Cody said, I'm here to make you or to entertain you or to make you happy. Again, that should be a byproduct of your performance. Cole then saying about Stratton that it's a star-making performance. I hate the word performance, by the way. Makes it feel very community theater or like a magician, doesn't it? I hate it. But we have Cole saying what they want to do with Stratton, but you don't say that. It's almost, he might as well have said, yeah, well, Stratton in her loss to Becky Lynch did get a nice rub. We hope to be able to push her in the future to the top of the roster, and eventually we'll plan to have her beat the women's world champion. I mean, he might as well have just said that. That's essentially what he said. It's just weird. It's weird to hear that stuff. Anyway, all right, we got. Again, Lynch doesn't know who her next opponent's going to be, but I like Lynch on NXT. Change of pace. That also kind of puts her in a holding pattern until they get to Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch, which you'd imagine is, if it's not WrestleMania, maybe it's earlier, but that is a match that they have in their back pocket, along with Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley, that I can't believe hasn't happened yet, at least on the main roster. It's really perplexing. But I know Bianca's on a different show. I understand that, but WWE doesn't care about the draft. So now Kevin and Sammy were arguing about Jey backstage. This is in the third hour. We're almost done here, guys. And Jey showed up and told Owens if he had something to say, he should say it to his face. And then Owens assumed that Jey would be joining the Judgment Day. He doesn't trust Jey either way and told him to go ahead and join the faction. And Owens said that they don't have a match and he was leaving. And Zayn told Jey it seemed like Jey had a big decision to make and wished him good luck. So Lynch did come out, though. She did come out and said that winning the title wasn't on her bingo card this year. But she's learned that you have to take opportunities when you can. She talked about being a Grand Slam champion and said NXT is the future of the business and it represents hope, hunger, passion, and progress. Boy, oh, that sounds like I feel like that's on a banner in the Performance Center, is it not? I feel like that's what you'd see when you first walk in the Performance Center. It's some kind of like corporately created mission statement. This is what NXT stands for. Hope, hunger, passion, and progress. Who the hell speaks like that in real life? This is a weird show, guys. This is weird. But anyway, Lynch said she wants to face the very best NXT has to offer. She'll be on NXT Tuesday and issued an open challenge. Natalya came out. Good on Natalya. She came out and told Lynch to name another woman who has worked their ass off more than she did for an opportunity, and she recalled pushing Rhea to her limit and said she'd been waiting backstage since then, and Natalya accepted the challenge. Kind of a disappointing challenge. I got to say, this is disappointing. Not that Natalya isn't respected. We all know what she's viewed as, kind of the gatekeeper, a veteran, a ring general, all that stuff. And all that's true. But, Natalya is not the right person here. It should be somebody that's on the NXT roster. Somebody that you can work with to help build that talent. Tiffany Stratton is an example, right? Now they may have their rematch down the line. But in the meantime, if you're issuing an open challenge, don't make it like somebody that is on a different show. Make it somebody that is exclusive to NXT. Because otherwise it feels just kind of like a leftover Raw match. It doesn't do anything for Natalya or Becky. These two have worked so many times together, and no matter the outcome, which is of course Becky Lynch winning, it doesn't benefit anyone unless it's a setup for somebody from the NXT women's roster to interfere, in which at that point you could insert Becky Lynch into that. But this should not be somebody from the Raw roster immediately calling dibs. That's not how this works. No. You have to go to the show, and then whoever, I guess, shows up first gets the opportunity. So I did not like this. But Lynch said it was intended for someone new and who hasn't had opportunities, and Natalya accused Lynch of stepping all over the women in NXT who are waiting patiently for their chance, and Natalya called her a hypocritical ginger witch, and that apparently was enough to have Lynch accept the challenge. All you got to do is name call like, a schoolgirl, and you get your opportunity. Basically, if you act like a horrible human being, you get your opportunity. Attack the champion from behind, just call them names, and you get the challenge. Now, one could argue that Natalya is skipping the line. You don't just have a lifetime pass for an opportunity at the title. In fact, you had 3 opportunities against Rhea Ripley for the women's world title? And you're complaining about Lynch, you're accusing Lynch of hopping over the other talent? I mean, what? So she's saying that Lynch is stepping all over the women in NXT, yet the exact opposite purpose of Becky Lynch being there is to help the women there, bring star power, create new opportunities, build new stars, and issuing an open challenge is stepping all over the women. That's a funny way of saying that she's stepping all over the women when she's allowing anyone in NXT to accept the challenge, except Natalya takes the very opportunity that she was complaining Lynch didn't give the women in NXT. I mean, this was it was a parody of itself. But my whole point about this is Natalya should not be the woman accepting the challenge. Point blank. Sorry, Natty. Sorry. Maybe there's some cat photos you can go take or wear your cat ears or I don't know, whatever else you do. All right. I'm feeling a little feisty tonight. Okay. So Becky and Natalya for the NXT Women's Championship happened on Raw, and Becky, as expected, beat Natalya in 8 minutes. And this happened where I'm reading the description here. Lynch rolled up Natalya for a 2 count. Natalya rolled on top over her, but then Lynch pulled her over and got the 3 count. So it's kind of like I don't want to say a fluke victory, but it protects Natalya a little bit. It wasn't a clean hit my finish and you're out type of victory, which doesn't make sense to me. It's like there wasn't a whole lot of just clean outright victories other than Dom and Cody, which is the one match I would argue it should not have been. All right. So let's see. Backstage, Adam Pearce talking with Dragon Lee. And then Dom entered the room and said he lost to Cody because Rhea wasn't by his side. And Dom said Pearce wasn't doing his job and let Ripley get hurt. And Lee spoke of taking the title from Dom when they meet next week. So Dragon Lee and Dom are having a NXT North American Championship match next week. So, all right. Then we got Tommaso Ciampa versus Giovanni Vinci, and this lasted 3.5 minutes, and the finish was Ciampa applying the Sicilian stretch and got the submission victory. So Giovanni Vinci continues his losing ways, and after Kaiser scolded Vinci at ringside for losing the match, no appearance by Gunther, I don't believe, on Raw, which was weird. So they must have decided to totally switch gears with what they're doing with Gunther, given that he wasn't on Raw, at least to my recollection, and the fact that we had Gable lose to Bronson Reed. Very strange. But let's see. Rollins was interviewed backstage, and Rollins said he was tired and losing his mind, and said he would do anything to get Nakamura in the ring, and said he's going to. Rollins said maybe he's been going about things wrong, and it was time to take his hands off the wheel. Rollins told Nakamura to name the place, time, and even the stipulation, and said their destinies are intertwined at this point, and asked Nakamura if Nakamura will define his legacy or will it be me. So clearly it's going to be Fastlane. I don't know what the stipulation is going to be, but we'll see. All right, so next week on Raw, before we get to the main event, is going to be Damian and Priest and Finn Balor versus KO and Sammy for the undisputed tag team titles. Otis versus Bronson Reed, and Shinsuke Nakamura is going to respond to Seth's challenge. So, semi-interesting Raw next week. But Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre was the main event. And the big hook here is, does Jey join the Judgment Day? That was the whole hook. A very solid match here. And I don't think Drew McIntyre gets enough credit for how damn good he is in the ring. And same for Jey, but very rarely does Drew ever have a bad match. I don't know if he's capable. But a couple interesting things happened in this match. Now, Jey did super kick all 3 members of the Judgment Day and rejected their proposal outright. That, though, after his super kick barrage to all 3 members of the Judgment Day, we got McIntyre taking advantage of that and hitting a Claymore to get the victory on Jey. And the crowd didn't know kind of what to do with this. They cheered, but at a level lower than what we just heard from Jey super kicking the Judgment Day. After that, we got the Judgment Day, after Drew left, beating down Jey as Drew had a moral dilemma of whether or not to help Jey. And he didn't. He ended up, walking out, and that's when Cody Rhodes, the savior. Oh, Cody, thank God you're here. He came out and ran past McIntyre and entered the ring and took out Priest and Balor and then hit Dom with Crossroads. And that's when Cody pulled Jey to his feet. The hero, our white knight, saved the day. And, we had Cody Rhodes make the all-important save. And again, I don't have anything bad to say about this segment. It's a kind of the design of this is one that we've seen many times. The babyface is outnumbered by a heel group, and then there's somebody big to come out and make the save. Fine, it's Cody, whatever, right? Like I just, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, tired of his character just outright. That said, the more interesting story to me is Drew McIntyre. The facials he was giving and the way he won the match and the dilemma ultimately to lead to just turning his back on Jey all are evidence for a potential heel turn in Drew. Now, the argument against it is, well, Jey did screw Drew out of a lot of matches. You know, he ran roughshod with the bloodline. He made a lot of enemies, so it's not like they're friends. So there is that. He had plausible deniability of why he didn't help Jey. Makes sense. But there is evidence now there. It's starting to trickle in, if you're noticing with Drew. And I'm here for it. I want to see a heel Drew. What does that look like? I think it's coming. I think we can now say we're on the path. Not a complete. It hasn't turned fully yet, but week by week, I think you'll start to see that evidence mount, and eventually leading to a Seth Drew match for the world title. So overall, again, I thought Raw was good. I really did. Despite all my complaints about Cody, I thought it was a well-paced show. I will say that Hulu took forever to upload Raw, so I had to wait till like the very last minute to watch. I don't know what the issue was with Hulu uploading Raw. Usually they're right on top of it, so that was a pain in the neck. But the last thing I'll say, this is actually something that was asked about Rhea Ripley, and she was interviewed. I don't know what show it was, but well, actually, you know what? Instead of me describing it, just take a listen to what she said about the men not being able to retaliate against her when she gets physical. So take a listen.
My business, in the men's business, Rhea Ripley keeps hitting the men. They can't hit her back. They can hit me back. They just choose not to. You know why? Because they know their place. They know their role. And they know mommy's always on top.
Okay. That's a bunch of hooey in a very PG way. This is nonsense. And I got this from an account called SmackDown Mall. Okay. Got about 60,000 followers. And it was sent to me by a listener who got this to me on Instagram. So Rhea Ripley directly responds to the criticism that the men can't hit her back. Oh, because they can hit me back. But they just choose not to because they know their place. Oh, do they? Or maybe this is just a shot in the dark. Maybe they can't retaliate because WWE is a publicly traded company, of which we're in a very different culture right now in the United States, a very different world where if WWE was to suddenly decide, hey, you know what, the men can do whatever they want to the women. It's fair game. If Rhea Ripley attacks you, you know what, just, crack her back, hit her in the head with a chair, hit a stunner, whatever. Do you know what would happen to WWE in this culture that we're living in? You would have people who would, especially sponsors. I think they're the most fearful of the sponsors that they have, because that's a lot of their revenue is sponsorships. Not just us, the crowd, the customers, the paying fans, but the sponsorships actually supersede us in terms of how much money WWE gets. So they're first and foremost going to serve the sponsors, and I think they're fearful that the sponsors would look and perceive this as, well, WWE is promoting domestic violence, which, by the way, domestic violence can go both ways, but I know most people think about domestic violence as men hitting women. But for the sake of argument, WWE, look at all the men hitting the women. This is abuse, right? I think Rhea, and I could be totally wrong, I think that has a small part in it. I'm pretty sure that the men, it's not about knowing their place. It's the fact that they can't because you're a woman, and sponsors and probably some portion of the audience would be, standing at WWE's headquarters with pitchforks, that they're promoting, intergender violence against women. It's a climate, guys, that we're in that is not where we were in the Ruthless Aggression era. Certainly not where we were in the Attitude Era. Things have changed. It's also a PG company. And I have beat this drum until it can't be beat anymore. I mean, it's easy for me as a fan to sit here and say, who gives a damn? This is stupid. And it is that Rhea can't be touched because she's a woman. I 2,000% stand by what I've said over the last several months at this point. I'm not backing down or changing my opinion on that. But it's easy for me as a fan to sit here and say, screw it, that's so dumb. Just let the men retaliate when my money's not on the line. It's potentially WWE's, revenue, that is. It's not my money, so it's easy for me to say. But it's preposterous. If Rhea Ripley, the person, actually believes that, she's in another universe. That is just nonsense. I think she was speaking in character. I think that was mostly in character. And if she was in character there, I'll let it slide. Okay, but so there. I'll stop that. All right, we're past an hour here, guys, which I think I'll say goodbye now. But don't forget, guys, if you enjoyed the show, or if you didn't, support us anyway, because I said so. Head on over to Patreon, get yourself an ad-free experience, and that way you don't have to hit skip or whatever you do during the ads. You can listen ad-free, which is also available on the Apple podcast app. There's a free trial there. There's a free trial on Patreon. And if you sign up on the SmackDown tier and higher, you get exclusive shows, video, and other perks. So check that out. Discord server as well. So that's available. Head on over to WWE Podcast Shop for your merch, and WWEpodcast.com. You can also get all of your ad-free stuff at WWEpodcast.com. So a lot of ways to support us, and I hope that you consider doing so. All right, that'll do it for me tonight, guys. I really appreciate it. And as always, I'll talk to you next time. All right, it's time to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's episode, happyhippo.com. So if you guys haven't checked this out, you got to go to happyhippo.com, because they have some of the highest quality kratom products that I've ever come across. And if you guys aren't familiar with what kratom is, it's an herbal substance that has many different uses, everything from a balanced mind to energy. It can help you relax. And my wife and I, over the last couple of weeks, have tried out some of their products. And I have to say, it has improved her sleep specifically. She's very anxious and her mind runs at night, and it has helped her fall asleep and stay asleep. She actually was using one of the powders that comes in a pouch from Happy Hippo, and just dropped it into her water, and off she went, and she was just she was very happy. Let me just put it that way. And so myself, during the workday, if you guys didn't know, I have a big boy job. I work in contract management, and I need that balance. I need the energy during the day, and they have something called Hyper Hippo and an energy shot. And those energy shots come in those little tiny bottles. You guys are familiar with it from other brands that use that type of packaging, but there's nothing like this. All right. This energy shot, I take it, easy to take, and within minutes, I feel the effects. There's no massive crash after I take it either, which is a huge deal, right? How many energy drinks have you taken and coffee have you drank throughout the day that just leads to the massive crash? Well, this doesn't. And it's an all-natural herb. And I'm telling you right now, it will help you get through your day. It can help you relax, depending on the type of product you're looking for. Happy Hippo delivers. And guess what? Right now, if you have an order of 200 or more, you can get free next day FedEx shipping. And also, their stuff tastes great. So check out happyhippo.com. Support the WWE podcast and Happy Hippo. And do yourself a favor as well, guys. I'm telling you right now, if it can help my wife go to sleep, for somebody as anxious as she is, and as somebody that needs as much energy as I do during the day to do this podcast and to do my job during the day. And right now, you can save 15% on your entire order by using promo code WWE15. That's right, WWE15 will get you 15% off of your entire order. And starting August 28th, they are having their largest sale of the year on their Hyper Hippo product, 40% off. So you'll definitely want to check them out then. But anytime you can use WWE15 as your promo code to get 15% off your entire order. Check out happyhippo.com, whether you're trying to relax or whether you need energy or balance during the day. happyhippo.com.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.